Recently, Fopull organized a small game jam in which I participated. However, this was not an ordinary game jam. We all had to jam off the same art kit, inspired by Mrs. Sissy's videos. But with a twist. Not only was the sprite sheet very small, just 96 by 96 pixels, but the sprite sheet was worked on by the very participants of the jam, before the start of the jam. This was definitely an interesting experience. At a previously decided time, we all gathered together and started working on the sprite sheet, which we would all have to use for the game we would be making in the next week. The participants were Fopull, Retro Barbare, Torte MacG, Smash Artist, BDP, and me. After a while, the full spreadsheet was completed. We also used a limited color palette, so the art was more cohesive. While other people already had an idea of what they wanted to do, and quickly drew in the tiles for their game, I didn't actually start brainstorming until after the spreadsheet was complete. Because of this, I didn't have anything specific I wanted to get drawn, so I just made a random sword and a character which I would use. After all drawing was done, this is what we ended up with. Certainly something interesting. Now that I knew what I was working with, I started brainstorming. I knew I wanted to use my own character, but the fact that I only had one frame of it limited me. Making a platformer with just one player sprite would simply not be a very good idea, so I decided I would make a top-down game. After that, I had the idea of making this a survival game, where hordes of enemies would come to attack you, and you shot them away with this gun sprite. The logical sprite to use for the enemies was the zombies by Smash Artist, so I used them. And now I had a basic game idea formed, so I got into the implementation of it. For the background, I used these green bricks that Retro Barbare made. To make the game feel more vibrant and alive, I made the player move from side to side like this, to replace the lack of animations. After that, I added the gun, which would face towards the mouse position. Just having a completely empty playground wasn't enough for me though, so I added walls using the tiles that Fopull made, while also making the gun shoot these pellet things, which would collide with the walls. As I said earlier, the main goal of the game would be shooting away zombies, so I added a zombie and made sure it went towards the player, while also facing in the correct direction and taking knockback from bullets. Next up, I added health, both for the player and for the zombie. At the same time, I made it so the zombie could die if the health dropped to 0. Now I had the basic mechanics I wanted to have when I started, but I thought I could have some extra mechanics as well. Specifically, I thought I could have a shop in the game, with which you would purchase upgrades using coins you get from killing zombies. Now, with all the gameplay mechanics I needed for the game, I had to start working on the proper final game. I made it so that the zombies would come in rounds, where each round would be harder than the previous. I made a map with 3 different rooms. The shop was in the room in the center, and you would have to go between the 3 rooms, killing the zombies in each room. After doing all of that, I had this. If you've made it this far into the video, please consider subscribing. Making this game and then editing this video took a lot of time, so it's really appreciated if you do so. I realized there was a problem with this system though. The zombies from other rooms would start moving towards you, in the center room, making the whole room thing useless, since you would just spend all your time in the center room, killing the zombies that came in. To fix this, I made it so the enemies would only move around if you were in the same room as them. This way, you would have to actually move around to complete each wave of zombies. I also had to add invisible walls in between rooms so that you couldn't stand outside and shoot the unmoving zombies inside. I played this version for a while, and I realized that it really wasn't fun for too long. The gameplay got old quickly, and there wasn't enough variation in the gameplay. To deal with this, I decided that there would be a small number of rounds, so there wasn't enough time for the game to get old. I made a few upgrades for the game: faster movement, faster shooting, less knockback, and healing. For the final touches, I added sound effects, which I made using VFXR, and made some music using Busca Kioan. I then just fixed some bugs, and finally published the game to itch.io. Sadly, out of the 6 participants, only 4 could finish their games: Fopull, BDP, Tort, and me. I think the final game ended up good, despite how I felt about it getting old quickly. On retrospect, I would have liked to add more variety, maybe a different enemy, or having the enemies dynamically change as the game goes on. But despite of what it could have been, I am happy with what it is.
Okay, so here we are in ZineDev's game, and first impressions, wow, this looks very nice. The menu and everything is really fluid, and I really like how he layered the tiles. It's just very awesome. So let's go ahead and hit play. Guessing this is... oh, wow. Let's get back into this, but wow, that's awesome. Like, the effects, like if I shoot, it knocks me back. That just feels super polished and awesome. Like, the animations are very nice. Shop. Oh, there's a shop? That's a really cool effect. This is insanely polished. I gotta say, it's not too hard though. Oh, alright, next round. Okay. I like how I can use the knockback from the gun to give me more movement. The knockback from the gun really makes you think about your actions, because you can't just spam shoot. Like maybe they should like increase in speed or something. But so far this is like really awesome and it's insanely polished. Oh, I won. I didn't know there was an end to it. Thank you for playing! This game was developed in 1 week using the shared 96x96 spreadsheet. I hope you enjoyed it. Press any button to restart. Okay, well that was awesome. Feedback, it was insanely polished. I loved it. The only thing I think could improve is like how hard the enemies get. So like the enemies getting faster in each wave rather than just increasing the amount of enemies, because it didn't really make it much harder. But this is really awesome. Like there's an entire shop system. Like this is so cool. Great job, Zine. Amazing work. Amazing work.
This has been ZineDev, and thanks for watching.